this is Chipacon, and I am your host on Otherworldly. And tonight I'm going to be talking about myself again. I much prefer having guests because I can make them do the talking. But I thought that I would talk to you about. I remembered that I had done a series of articles in the Blessed Bee magazine. The Blessed Bee magazine was a wonderful magazine put out by Blessed Bee Publishing, and it was just, let me see if I think I've got the link here to put in the chat, and it's just a it was very good. It didn't last any longer than it lasted less long than I would have liked. 20 years ago, I was hitting the mother button really hard. Now I'm doing the crone thing, but yeah, I had kids in school, and it was, and the Blessed Bees Family magazine was brilliant because it had things on dealing with kids and magic and paganism, and it was wonderful. But apparently they weren't able to keep enough circulation going to have it continue the way crone, I think. What do they have beside crone? I think crone may be the one that's continuing. Is New Witch gone? Could be. I don't know. Sage Woman, I think, was the first incarnation of crone. But Pangaea, there were a lot of ones, and it's still going now, and I like it. But Green Man, I never subscribed to Green Man because it was male spirituality. But the Blessed Bee was for children, and I really liked it. And they asked me if I could do a series on teaching kids runes. My feeling is for children and magic of all sorts, whether it's divination, whether it's healing, whether it's hexing. I mostly believe in self-defense. I think kids need to learn self-defense. And when you are going to public school or even to the playground and all the other little sparks of divine are on your butt and giving you a hard time because you're not the same as they are, some kind of self-defense is necessary, and the urge to strike back is strong. So I think that teaching kids what you can do and what is liable to go wrong, so that they know better than to learn the lesson the hard way. Nobody wants to hex somebody and have them get seriously hurt and then feel guilt. That's just not the way you want to do it. But I believe in starting young and start small and build. So in the series, I had we covered a couple of runes per I think it came out 4 times a year, so it was every 3 months you could learn a couple new runes. One of the things that I said was, learn here is all the runes. It's fun to learn to write in runes and use them as a code. You'll be writing in English, especially little kids. They've just learned how to write, so, but nice straight line letters. That runes are easy, and boy, is it fun to put the teacher as a think on the board before she comes into the classroom in runes or Egyptian hieroglyphics or Phoenician. I was very big on that. I actually learned the weird bug-shaped letters in Artemis Fowl, but yeah, I enjoyed that, and I think that when kids can pass secret notes, you're empowering them. Giving kids privacy definitely empowers them. Learning what they are called, learning what the sounds are. It's a good first step, and frankly, it's what runes were used for more than they were used for magic. And then I just jumped right in and I'd use a couple at a time because otherwise it would have taken forever. I go with 24 rune set. For instance, when I started out, let's see, one of the issues was on attracting money, and it was on wealth, and Fia. Let's see, is there? Oh my goodness, I have forgotten to make or I'm very sorry, I haven't got, oh wait a minute, unless I look in my rune pouch. I'm going to get there eventually. Divination is not where you want to start a child. 12, 13, 14, you can get into divination, but things are up in the air so much for kids. And how much power do you have in, over changing your future seems to be it's an issue that kids need to be more comfortable with control more than prediction, because I think that. So I start, people find this odd, but I start the kids on doing magic with runes. Start out with, you can write with them, they make sounds. But then I start out with magic, because magic is
easy for children.
Kids do magic naturally. They do it all the time. But if you start out with, if they're using two runes for a 3-month period, by the time they're done with that, they will know those runes. They'll know what they're for. They'll know what they do. Then you add another couple. Then you add another couple, and then 2 or 3 years later, then you can say, okay, now if you've got all of these, here's how you can make your runes to read, and hope that they're not going to try it before they're too young. But of course, if you've got a family magazine, the parents will probably be there giving them a hand with it. There's a whiteboard in Zoom. You could draw your runes on it. Ooh, let me see if I can figure out how to do that. I actually don't know.
Let me see if I can figure out how to tell you how to do it.
Okay. But yeah, Star Wolf says runes are chemistry.
I think it goes along with it goes along with the share screen options. Oh wait, no. Whiteboard's over to the right next to the lead button.
Whiteboard, click on that. Actually, most of what I'm doing is
There you go.
Talking about them. There it is.
Okay.
And am I writing on it? Let me see what happens if yes, there it is. Okay. And this is a fia. That's not a very good fia, but it's a fia. And frankly, if you look at the runes in many okay,
it's recognizable. It's recognizable.
This one is a fia or a fey or a fehu, and this is an odal or othal. And what are we looking at on the screen? That's it. Okay. So are you just seeing this big boring screen?
I'm seeing a large white screen with a set of images of all the participants on the right.
Okay, fine. So there I have now shown you that. I'm going to go back to, you can look at me and all my loveliness.
Yeah. Play with it sometime.
Yeah, well, I will come back when I hit another one, but I see absolutely no reason not to look at the to stare at a whiteboard with a scribble on it for most of it. Anyway, so those two first ones, I got a chance to talk to them about how money, that the first one, Fia, the one that looks like an F and makes the F sound, you can attract it. Now, this is how to use runes for magic. And I got to tell them, if you know the story of Jack and the Beanstalk with fee, fi, fo, fum, the chances are what that was is Galder. It is the use of runes by chanting it. This is probably why there was so much alliteration in a lot of the old Anglo-Saxon and Viking literature and would you call it? You might call it music. I don't know. But if you are going now, these days when they talk about Galder, they usually have you say Fe, they chant the name of the rune, they elongate it, but fee, fi, fo, fum, or coming up with a list of words that describe whatever your intent is on. I need a fee for doing the fun stuff that I want to fiddle with, is going to attract it better than just going fey who, because you can get bored with that. Now, for an adult, just a mantra that you say over allows you to free your mind so that you can concentrate on your intent. But kids are more active, and so telling them to use a more active type of mentation in working with the rune to attract the wealth is important. And we got to talk about how it referred to wealth, which was about was cattle, which was herds, and the whole concept of whether, if you have runes, if you're talking about wealth as a living thing, it has to circulate. It has to be constantly renewed. You can't put a herd in one field and leave it there, or they'll eat it all up and it'll be gone. You have to have new babies coming to, you have to have calves and kids and new baby chicks or whatever, and then, you know, eat off the old ones. You have to, I didn't say that in the thing. You got to leave things for the parents to handle, but it must do it. Or a dragon or a miser who holds their pile of coins, like Scrooge McDuck, it's going to become cursed. Any hoard that isn't being used will become cursed. So it must keep moving, and you must continue spreading the blessings around. I like the quote from Hello Dolly that money's like manure. You should pardon the expression. It's not worth a thing if it isn't spread around helping little green things grow. And then Odal is the other wealth, but fee is for it is what you use for movable wealth. Immovable wealth is what your family gives you. It's what you inherit, but specifically it's the land, it's the traditions, it's your very blue eyes, it's the things that you cannot give away. You can't circulate it because it is built into you, and you will pass it on whether you want to or not to your heirs and assigns or your kids, depending on which aspect of Odal it is. The land stays. You are here as a visitor. And therefore, because you are a temporary visitor in this situation, you have to show respect for that particular variety of wealth. So that's the so that was that. And then I showed them how to make a little pouch, and you could. I don't think I put it. My favorite little money spell is to wherever you keep your change, put a small mirror in with it, and so that, and always have at least one coin so that mirror can reflect it back and expand your money. But so in that one we made a pouch. The one that I had one for luck, and in which case I talked about ingesting luck. Then I gave them the recipe for making rune cookies, and how you will take luck and you use purth, or you can use wine, or you can use sigil, which is for blessing, and you put those, and you, if you want something like that, you put it on your in old-fashioned days, they would write the runes on a plate, and then they would take the wounds and wash it off with ale or mead, and then they would give the patient the ale or mead, and the rune energy would be in it, and they would drink it, and that would heal them. And if you want to do it, you can take your peanut butter sandwich and you can write the rune on it and then eat it. And then, do you want to put jelly on whatever? You can take your hamburger and use your mustard or ketchup to write the runes on them. You can, if you have a bowl of soup, you can take your spoon and stir the rune into it. Now, nobody's going to be able to see it because soup puts itself back together so fast, but the energy will be there. So, and also I gave them the suggestion that they didn't have to, don't put all the runes. If you're making cookies, only use the good runes. Because there are some energies you do not want to be taking into yourself. You only want the ones you want. So for health, for instance, health, use urus for health, and that is a that's the one. And let me see if I can do this more quickly these days. No,
Lois does say she has graphics of the runes if you want. If you share,
Oh.
let her share. If you let her share the screen.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah. Let me share screen. Where is that? I know how to share screen. I know. I share. Okay. I went away. Somebody else got it. I have completely lost track of what I'm doing. Am I still talking? No, I am not leaving the movie. I'm not trying to end the meeting.
You are talking, and no, do not do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
you are talking, and you shared your screen.
For me.
What you want to do is allow others to. It's going to be for participants, I think. Allow others to share.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. One participant can share at a time. Multiple. I think that looks confusing. One can share at a time. Sounds good. So if she wants to try to, let's see, I've got the options of desktop whiteboard. This is not good programming. Anyway, no, I am not figuring this out.
Neither am I.
Maybe under advanced. Portion screen files. No,
I think they just updated the app.
I don't know what I'm doing. So if you, Lois, if you can go for it, I am not figuring it out.
Apparently you still need to allow participants to share the screen.
Well, okay, I will go to, can share.
Is there something for security?
I see sharing options.
Okay, that would be where you should find it then.
Who can share? And they don't let me. One participant share at a time.
Really?
Yeah. They're all gray instead of bright.
Okay.
So.
For some reason you can't.
I'll have to practice this in between the next thing.
Okay.
I apologize deeply.
I volunteer for the practice session.
Thank you. You can help me learn it. So, yeah. So basically, if you wanted urus, you could use urus to give yourself vitality. I think I talked about that, and I suggested that you can use food coloring to put things on your food. For luck, Purth is specifically one for. Now I'm going to try the whiteboard again because that seemed to work. And whiteboard, whiteboard, whiteboard there. Okay, whiteboard, share. Okay, Pureth, it is, oh, I just hit the bottom of my thing. I got an eraser on here, clear, yay, clear all drawings. Let's try that over here. 1, 2, 3. This is Pureth, and Pureth, this is, I think, be very cool for little kids because it's for finding lost things and for attracting luck. Another one that is good for, I keep bumping into, I've got one of those ergonomic things that support your wrist at the bottom of my mouse pad. I keep bumping into it. Sigil looks a lot like an S, which helps them look. And so that's the S. So you make a lot of snaky noises if you wanted to invoke that for blessings. Wine is for W, and it makes it, and everybody, you know, you look at it and you're going to think P, but let's see if I, there, try that again. Go back to the writing implement. Where's the writing implement? Oh, come on. Okay, I'm going to make this one go away again because I don't know what I'm doing. But Pureth is very good for little kids finding lost objects. They like that. And wine is for happiness, and sigil is for blessing, and which leads you straight into the protection. Protection is really something that kids really want, and those, and the ones that you use is either AWAs and algaes, and I also mentioned Hoggle because Hoggle and Thirst are some of the scarier ones, but kids want power. Kids are very nervous about having no power taken from them, and they don't want to be powerless. So having some power is useful for them. You have to explain that, you know, Spider-Man's already explained, with great power comes great responsibility. But if you have a Hoggle, or sometimes it's, ignore that little tail, that was me hitting the bottom again. Sometimes goes that way too. But that's Hoggle. It also is done more in the Thunderbolt or Snowflake version, is also hung. And that's basically for lightning strike. It's for making something fairly serious happen to people who have deserved it. And if you always focus on it only goes against those who don't, who deserve it, I figure that's the best way to be sure. But protection, there's two that you, there's AWAS and algaes, and again with a tail that I don't need, which is why I'm going to clear this as quickly as I can. But protection is something kids want, and I suggested that they would make a amulet for themselves. And how to do that, I think I was talking with, you can use leather, you can use that wretched plastic foam, although I don't recommend it because I don't think it's good for the environment. You can use paper. You know, traditionally a whole lot of amulets were done on paper, and the nice thing about them, and I forget which issue I put that in, but one of the important things for any magic you're teaching for kids, especially with runes, is make sure it's on something that you can undo. You can use knot magic and untie the knots. You can have paper and you can burn it. You can have something written that you can erase or rub off. The ability to undo is very important in any apprentice type magic when they're not really good at it. You've got to give them, build into the system a way for them to say, I take it back. No, it's not always going to work. But when you're teaching it to kids, that is a safety precaution that I really think is very important. Yeah, protection runes, and I suggest, and that one I think I always also did bind runes, where if you stick them together and you can make some lovely snowflakey bind runes with algaes and get some very pretty things that look like jewelry, and other people aren't going to know what they are unless they're in the know and you've taught them how to play to read runes so that you and your friends can. And then if you're doing magic with them and they'll say, well, why is it looking like that? You're going to then you just say, well, this one is just for magic. Another one, Rad, is for movement, and it is it's for rhythmic movement, whereas Ehas is for kind of forward movement. It's the horse rune, looks like the modern M, and you can take that. Another one, what I suggested for that one was you can take a marker and you can put it on your shoe to help you speed up. You can take your finger and write it in the dirt on your family car. You can take the protection runes and put them in the dust on your family car. And because you were doing this with intent, when your parents look at it and say, you're making a mess of the car, and they wash it off, the protection energy stays on the car. You put it on your bike to make it faster. You put it on your sneakers to make them faster. You put it on your, or because it's rhythmic, you can put it on your drums, you could put it on your guitar or whatever your musical instrument is to help, because I find that Rad is very good with music as well. And I will generally, when I'm dealing with kids, try and figure out what it is that they want and what do they need in their lives. Where do they need the control, and help them get that control in the places where they need it. Because that say that, they don't want to turn straw into gold. They don't need to get, they don't want to get a credit card. What they want is the thing they're going to buy with the credit card. That is the thing that you got to remember with kids is help them figure out. And then the hardest part of any magic is help them figure out what it is that they really want. Are they saying this, it's a wonderful way to plunge into the whole, look how you're being manipulated by the adults around you through commercials and, and music and whatever, and having them tell you what you want. You help them figure out what they really want so they can go after what they want instead of what, just going for what everybody tells them that they're supposed to want. Gosh, that is one of the things that kids need the most help with. And that's frankly where most magic users need the most help, is to make sure you're focusing on what it is that, what is it that you need or want to be doing. So that's where the intention goes, and that's where you see this functioning. When you, so some of the other projects that the energy, you can draw things on things with your finger and picture it glowing. You for instance, you want to put protection rune on your house. You take the odal and maybe the algaes, and you go to the front door of your house and you draw. You could use a marker if your parents are cool with it, which they could be. And with the blessed bee, their parents are probably would be very cool with it. But you want a protection rune on the front of your house, protect everybody in the house. Aha, look, what are we looking at? We got a show and tell from Star Wars. There we go. Look at those runes all around. And so this is a good place to do. But I don't think, in my view, teaching the kids the runes one at a time so they understand the rune and know how to use it is easier for them, I think. Now, yes, they'll get greedy about it. They'll say, oh, if this does this, and then what does this one do? And then what does this one do? You can't do that in a magazine with a subscription, but you can do that when you're talking to them. But making sure that they understand it as they do it. You can take a rune for knowledge. You can make it amulet. Or you can just put a blessing on whatever you got. You wear glasses, you can put the blessing on your glasses so that every time you put the glasses on, not only do they help you see better, you can put a blessing on them so that you have you get knowledge. If you for that you would use as, which is the A, which looks like a downward sloped F looking one. You would use Ken, which is for intuitive knowledge, for knowledge coming from within yourself. You can use got a note that says Auk, and I can't imagine why I would have told them Auk for knowledge. However, the next month, I think I had Focus, which is the ear, which is the U. It looks like a U upside down with a dash in it, which is one of the Anglo-Saxon runes, which is for targeting or focusing or getting something done. Brilliant rune for kids with ADD. They can put an amulet on, and this is really important for kids to understand. You don't need to change who you are. You can use magic to give you help with a particular task. You can have an amulet or something that you put on when you're in class that'll help you focus, and then take it off when you go on the playground. Take it off when you go home. You don't need to have that focus. Frankly, ADD usually means that the person has hypersensitivity and they are noticing everything that's going on around. They are both too focused and they're both too scattered because they're picking so much. It's the hunter-gatherer skill set that is totally useless in a class or an office situation. So the ability to knowing that you use an amulet for something that you can take on or put off. I don't think I used the reference to bed knobs and broomsticks because Disney might go after us, and you never want to take on Disney. They've got more lawyers than God. But in bed knobs and broomsticks, you see she's got the bed knob, which it is turned in order to activate it. You can put the rune on a bracelet or put it on a ring and turn it, take it off and turn it like this. And then when you turned it, or you can turn it back, this falls into the same category of having an undo, have an off-on switch. My rune spirit drum, Ken, is enlightenment. Ken is the fire from within, whereas sigil is the fire from without, so that it's the blessing that comes down on you. It is taking potential and utilizing it. So Ken is really good for bringing stuff from inside, but it's not necessarily the best for learning stuff from school. You can find things out, but you'll have the right answer to the math problem, but you won't be able to show all the steps. And we all know how deadly that is in school. The last thing you need in school is not to be able to follow the instructions you want to. So, but because it's really good for a person to have that hunter's awareness, that's why ADD is a wonderful thing, but it's just a crap thing for being in school. So having it on and off, showing the kids how to turn it off and on is good. Oh, fires of Muspelheim, yes. Wonderful for shopping though. Yeah, the gathering instinct. Oh yes, the gatherers, being able to spot things, being able to spot the last can of whatever variety of.
As I like to say, the hunters know what the route is for the migration of the buffalo. The gatherers know when and where the berries will be ripe,
and when they're going to come, where they're going to come up the next time.
Yep.
And just lots of things, but I really think that it's very important both for the adults in the family and the kids to be aware that you can use magic not to make a permanent change, to make a temporary change. And that's why I like amulets, because amulets can be taken on and taken off. You can put the on-off switch and turn it this way, it does one thing, turn it that way, it does another thing. When I put this one on, nobody will see me. Nobody will give me a hard time. I will be unseeable. If you can teach the kids to do that when they're young enough, it won't become permanent. The way my daughter kind of has a field of invisibility around her, which can be very inconvenient if you're needing to be seen. So that is the technique that I was going through them, and then when I didn't get there, but then when I would have gotten there, I was going to show them how I do rune reading, which is I have rune sticks that, as opposed to the little pebbles, which are more common. You take rune sticks and you toss them and they fall. Gee, what a surprise. If you have rune sticks, they will fall into patterns. And if they fall into, say, a gifu, then you have well, that one's looking like a need. So, but when you're reading them, you can see how the two things, they tell a story. And you get a much more nuanced reading out of that, which is why I would want to have this be something that I taught kids over a longer period of time. If you are dealing with a mentoring program where you are working with the kid one-on-one, you can take them as fast or slowly as they need to take it, but you don't need to. But if you are putting it out there in a newsletter or a magazine, you want to take it slowly, because give them a chance to integrate it and to learn it. If you have been using each of the runes to do something, to make something, to achieve something, when you finally get to doing divination, you really have a pretty solid idea of, yeah, I know what happened when I used that rune. And I would definitely explain to kids that there is not a magician out there who hasn't got sad stories about how they tried something and it went wrong. Every single one of us, because it works that way, whether it's magic or anything else. Just simple communication is something that we need, that never works the same when you want it to. I'm trying to remember what other runes I have, how I taught the kids to do them, because I haven't got the full set. I didn't finish the whole thing. And one of the things that I would suggest for kids, well, I split wood to make them. I would take tongue depressors, coffee stirrers, to make the rune sticks for kids. A, it's smaller and easier for them to grasp in smaller hands. B, it has less splinters. And most of these are made with birch, which is a lovely, non-toxic, but yet biodegradable material. Make sure that when you're writing on them, what you're writing on is a non-toxic, craft sticks. But anytime you're dealing with kids, you are dealing with helping them understand how the world works. That's the job of kids. And I think it's the job of all of us, but we forget it when we stop being kids, because we reach a point where we think that we know how it works. But yeah, part of our job is to try and explain to kids how other people don't see it the same way we do, and that you may be wrong, but it's still valid for them. Let's see, you can also buy cut slices of wood 1 inch or 2 in diameter with the bark on. Yeah, I've seen that. I know someone can forge a tree and cut it for themselves if they're privileged enough to have access to such. Yeah, some people aren't privileged enough to have access to wild materials, and some people aren't privileged enough to have access to kitchen or craft tools. Many, people seem to be more willing to give Fimo or Sculpey to their kids than they are to give them to give them a sharp knife. Yeah, Michael's is they have many cool things in craft shops, and so if you are dealing with kids, I really think that kids will tell you things. Kids will see things that you don't see anymore, because we have layers of expectation built into filtering our eyes. So one thing you might want to do with runes is, if you have glasses, buy a cheap pair of sunglasses and sell them so that you will see things as they are through those glasses. It's something that we frequently forget to do. That's a Dollar Tree. Yep. Magic does not have to be expensive. When I was young and I read a whole lot of traditional magical texts, it was like, you need to have virgin parchment. Now, the reason they specified virgin parchment was because in those days they would scrub off the ink and reuse it. And like I was saying about the dust on the car, the intent stays in there. And now, of course, they're using it to recover lost texts that we didn't have, that they had scrubbed off to reuse the parchment for something else.
Still
and
there.
I'm trying to put the name for that.
Palimpsest.
Yeah. And but yeah, just as that stays on, then we had the energy that you put into it. Your intent puts it in there. But if you just say it, if you say fee fi fo fum while you're telling the story of Jack and the Giant Killer, you're not going to be attracting much, because you're not using it with intent. You add intent to that, and it's going to make it powerful. So these are things that you can teach children. And as with teaching children how to use the stove or fire or matches or the sharp knife, yeah, if you're teaching them to sew, they will stick the needle in them. That's going to happen. If it's somebody, you give them a new needle, or if you want, you can soak the needle for 20 minutes in alcohol. Pass it through the fire and then wipe off the soot. I am not, as concerned with, the reason that they're worried about, you want blood exchange with strangers. That's gotten a lot more dangerous than when I was a little kid. When I was a kid, we used to share, we'd be blood brothers. We'd cut ourselves and share blood. That would terrify people of this century because it wasn't dangerous back then. But what we were doing and didn't know was we were sharing energy. And which is not unlike what happens when people French kiss. But you know, little kids aren't going to do that. But it's all energy sharing, and you can teach kids healing, and you can teach kids energy use, and you can teach kids runes. And as Marsha Pans, who wrote, I think it was Defensive Magic, Psychic Self-Defense, maybe. She also taught martial arts. And her basic reassurance for all of us was if you are teaching martial arts, you're giving people the ability to really do some serious damage to somebody else. Sure you are, but the ones who really just want to learn to be badasses never bother to put it into practice. They don't practice 2 hours a day to learn the techniques. And the same thing happens with magic. The ones who want to be badasses will look at every shortcut they can get and not put into practice. They won't do the meditation an hour a day. They won't practice doing it. They'll get good enough to have some effect that they like, and then they won't have the energy. So she said that just as with normal martial arts, magical martial arts, don't worry about it. They may learn a couple tricks, but they will not know the protection. They will not know. You show the kids how to do warding. You show the kids how to do grounding and centering and putting up shields. You show the kids how to use their intent, use these symbols. You could use the runes, you could use tarot, you can use whatever. There's lots and lots of symbol sets out there. You can use lots of different things. I happen to have an affinity for the runes, and you know, ask the kids what they want to learn. If they're not interested in runes, find something else that they're into. They might like hieroglyphs. They might want to go Greek. I don't know, but you know, let their interests lead you and teach them. You know, you may be like the school teacher who's just staying one chapter ahead of the students while finding out what it is they want to learn. But you can teach kids. I call teaching kids rune magic, giving chainsaws to children. But there's no reason, once they are strong enough to lift and control a chainsaw, that a kid can't use a chainsaw. You do have to teach them the important things, like don't let it get dull. That you're more likely to cut yourself with a dull knife than a sharp one. Because you know, it's just there are things that people don't want to let the kids have learning experiences. Okay, that's a pretty broad statement, but that's my rant. But okay, we got 10 minutes. I really want to see if there are any questions out there. Anybody want to you know, did you tune in because it was Wednesday and Otherworldly, or did you tune in because runes, or did you tune in because of children? Because frankly, any of those things.
I tuned in because of runes.
Yeah.
I have a set of runes. I never learned how to divine anything with them, but I want to know how to use them and what I can do with them.
If you want to know what, we could set something up through Otherworldly for other people who be interested in runes. If you want a good book on it, one of my favorite books is Diana Paxson's Taking Up the Runes. Unfortunately, I get cross with it because it is intended to be used in a group, and you do a lot of exercises.
Oh, yeah, she works with a group.
And isn't that lovely if you have a group? But if you don't, you can't. You don't have that as an available option, and it frustrated me, and I got cranky about it. I read it, but I didn't do a lot of the exercises because
You
it
didn't have a
kind
group.
of I didn't have a group, and I was incredibly jealous. I would love to have had a group.
No,
So
I
maybe
really want to continue learning the sort of thing you've been teaching tonight about what magic the runes can do and how to use it. You've given a general, but I need to know more meanings and things too. So
well, yes, you have to learn the meanings, but I think that if you're learning it one or two at a time,
yeah.
you can get deeply into it, which is essentially what Dinah Paxton's group thing is they would do one rune, get 24 runes, and you do one, and you meet every 2 weeks. At the end of 24 weeks, you've got 48 weeks. At the end of a year, you've done all the runes, and you know them well.
Okay.
This is a similar thing, is that you want the kids to know the runes, because there's some that you're never going to really do much with. Let's face it, Thirst and Hoggle are both raw power that you hear. Oh God, Julie, good. We could set up a rune group for the through Changing Times, Changing Worlds website, or actually, I think the website's got the contact information turned off because we were getting spammed out the wazoo. But with the Facebook group, the Facebook page is open and has announcements, and the Facebook group is private, so only other people who are sign up for Changing Times, Changing Worlds group can talk, and we could set up a rune study program there.
Okay.
I think it's important to understand, to go deeply into what the runes are, especially since they have multiple layers of them. They've been around for 2,000 years. And some of them we don't really have a great understanding of, but some of them we have, it can mean different things at different levels. Like Fia, begin at the beginning, means cattle, means wealth, means well-being, and then it moves over into the next one is or urus, which has to do with strength and healing. Yeah, healing is a good one. I love teaching kids the ability to heal. Made a set of gloves for a friend combined with Thirst combined with Winjo. Well, yeah, Thirst and Winjo together. That A, the Winjo would be happy, and B, the Thirst would allow you to really slap them. but on the other hand, you can get unexpected effect. You invoke Thirst, and you can get the forces of nature coming down on you. You want to. It's like those stories about don't untie all three of the knots. You get a gentle breeze with the first knot, that you get a strong wind with the second knot, and the third one you get a hurricane. The ship will sink. Don't get greedy. Control. It's all about the control, which is very important when you're dealing with kids. Give them control. They need control. That's what they want. That's why they want magic, is they want control. They are in a world where everybody can tell them what to do. And you want to give them something so they can protect themselves. They can shield themselves. They can attract good things to themselves, and they can put barriers up against the bad things, where they can be visible or invisible as they choose. Self-direction, self-empowerment is the very important thing for kids. And I think it's worthy to, I'm not afraid of giving kids power. I mean, goodness sakes, people give kids little computers and they can turn them loose on the internet. How is that not scary? But, touch to blow out a candle without leaving a dent in the holder. Oh, yeah, yeah. Moderation, restraint. Yeah. So, are there any other questions? I'll put a little thing up inviting people, and we'll see if we, maybe we'll get 3 people studying the runes. But if it gives you something to do, we have to figure out when we are available, because everybody's on a different schedule. Okay. Yeah. So I guess that's it for tonight, and I will see you next week, or is it next month? Is it next week? Next month? I forget which. What day is it? 26. Yeah, it is next week is next month, and I forget. I didn't put up who I've got on next week. I'll try and put that. I'll try and get the ad up earlier this next week.
Thank you.
Then I've got Carenza. He's going to be showing us how to make the Orgone collector box. I've got Starwolf. I've got coming, and Jane's going to be talking about Norse medicine. So June should be fun, and so we can talk about lots of. Oh, I was trying to get somebody to do twins for me, because there's magical aspects of twinning. So, but also we're going to be a little distracted because next month we're trying to fill the schedule with all of the. We're trying to get the speakers to sign up for the
Conference.
For the conference, and for goodness sakes, they all get distracted. So, this is where I tell everybody that the conference is going to be November 7th through the 13th. It is virtual this year again, because the new variants are really inconveniently contagious. Evenings, Monday through Friday, we'll be having panels and classes in the evening, and all day Saturday and Sunday. So it's all November 7th through 13th. You can either get the option of, with either option, you get to attend all the live events, and but you can choose to be able to watch any of the ones you missed or want to watch again for a month or for a year. So that will give you, if you have something to do, or if we end up with so many people putting in their proposals that we have more than one going at once, you can choose one and watch the other one on a recording. So that would be cool. Meanwhile, every Wednesday we have something on Otherworldly, and they go up on YouTube on the Thursday or Friday afterwards. So thank you. The website for thank you for the Changing Times, Changing Worlds. Yes, do register to present. I had something. I thought I was going to
Panel sign up, maybe.
that wasn't what it was. Oh, it did. Yeah, I was going to give you the link for the BBI, the Blessed Bee. So the
yes.
I
You gave that earlier, actually.
Quick, straight to truth.
Yeah, it's the very first thing
Yeah.
in chat.
Okay,
Well,
well,
for me.
there it is at the end of.
Good idea for those who came late.
Yes. So thank you to everybody who came, and we will see you, some of you, next week. And
Okay. Thank you.
be here.